defects or off specs you can't sell to your customers. They are also quality losses and material losses. How to get that into our analysis, and even more important, how to fix them so that we can make money again. Hello, I'm Tom. Welcome to my channel where we talk about continuous improvement in an industrial setting. And this video is about 2 of the 5 quality material losses, defects and off spec, because they are basically the same. I put them in one video, but in your accounting systems they will probably be pulled apart, and that's why in your analysis I advise you to split these categories. So let's first define what is a defect. It is something that was meant as a product. So this is not something you cut off during the process or a bit of overuse. No, basically we are talking about a piece of material that should have been a final product, and it's probably somewhere halfway or even completely through your production process. It resembles a product, but something is wrong. For instance, we've got this laundry detergent, but here you see this barcode is just unreadable. The material inside, probably fine, the box, good, but our customer, a supermarket chain, will not buy this because it doesn't fit into their logistic systems. For this type of defect, you see, we did not put too much powder in there, or it's not something that we wash away in our machines. This should have been a final product, and it probably went almost all the way to the end of your assembly line. Now, what you will also see, and here we get to this difference between defects and off specs, as I discussed in my video about the mass balance and how to define the 5 quality losses there. You've got your overusage, then you have process scrap, defects, off spec, and claims. We'll get to that one in another video. Defects is when you still keep it within your own factory. Your quality system picks it up and puts aside the product. Where an off spec is usually already outside of your factory but still within your logistic network, or maybe you say, well, this will go on to like a secondary market. Now, for me, the big difference between these two is how do you account for them? And in many firms, especially when you're using SAP or Oracle, a defect is sent into a separate bin and is registered as volume going into a defect stream, while off-spec, well, products that you revalue and put into another market, they formally leave your factory. You get your coverage for fixed cost, you register it in your accounting system as a finished product, and then afterwards you get a discount, or you register it as a finished product with a lower price, already with a discount in it. That very practical difference, to me, is a reason to split them in your analysis, because that way your volumes will match with what is in your accounting system. And that makes it a lot easier to explain the numbers in your loss analysis. But of course, when we are looking at improvement, both of them are basically due to a defect, a quality defect in our product, which is due to one of our processes. So to represent this, we are making our product, and at some point we see there is going to be a problem. If we immediately waste it, we've got a pure defect going into the waste stream, but when it leaves our factory, there is one very important check that we need to do. Are we sending it to our main client? You see, our client is king, who is paying top dollar for this product, but also expects it to be exactly up to specs. Then it's all okay. But as soon as you see that, and this is especially if you are doing this type of quality and losses analysis for a factory, and you are talking with the factory director, production people that would like to have as good of a number, as good of a valuation as they can get. So when you are sort of arguing with colleagues who are trying to convince you that it was not a defect, it was not a problem, we sold it to a nice market. As soon as you see that this product, which should have gone to our main customer, took a detour and ended up with some other customer, for instance, some open market, some discount shop that would still take the product because they can work with, in our example, this bad barcode. They don't use barcodes anyway, but they pay only dimes on the dollar, then you know this is a quality loss. And we should flag it in our analyses. And this is a very important one. The defects that you get within your factory, they are usually pretty easy to flag because they end up in a different stream and people really recognize that there was a problem and that you put it into some rework or some external rework, let's put it like that. So a waste stream. But when you sell to clients that pay less but still accept the product, things get a bit tricky. Be very alert on this, because these are quality costs. It costs us not material because we're selling it, so in the mass balance it looks like a good product, but we lost the money. So this is a quality problem that should be solved. Now the way to solve it, and here it becomes important again, these are all defects. So we should also group them. When we have, in fact, sent a bad product to our key customer, we might even get a claim from that. Or we sell it for a lower price, reevaluated it off spec, or it became a defect within our factory, waste. All of these come from the same problems in our factory. And that is where we want to specify, well, that's where we want to send our improvement, attention and resources. So the stuff from the claims, the off specs and the defects, we all check what it was and you add it together. Now, what we also know is that not everybody will claim when they see a quality problem. Especially if it is still sellable, if people can still work with it, they might just accept small quality problems until they become too big. So usually one claim is worth a lot, well, is equal to a lot of off-spec or defects sold. We should weigh them a bit stronger. But what you do is you check, did we get claims, off-spec or defects on this barcode? And which station within our production organization is responsible for getting that barcode on? Maybe it's already the material coming in, pre-printed, the barcode was not printed directly onto it. Maybe you have some sticker machine somewhere down the line, but identify where you got this problem and you just add all of them together. So in the analysis, when you're getting total volumes, yes, these are coming from different sources. So they are different parts of your loss analysis. But when you are then making your focus areas, you combine these into what are the machines, the processes, the areas in my production where I need to put the focus. And there is one more important thing when it comes to defects and especially how you handle them in your loss analysis. And that is when defects are reworked. So rework, getting back into your factory, making new product, you don't really lose the material. Make sure this is in your loss analysis. Rework always costs money. It is a risk for more defects. You almost always lose a bit of material, you lose time, you have people handling the stuff, and you know that your processes are not producing prime material the first time. So defects and off-spec, they were meant to be a product, but something went wrong. If it gets to your final customer and they notice, you'll probably get a claim. We'll talk more about that in the next video. If you sell them because you know they're not up to spec, and you sell them to a customer who is willing to pay something for it, this is really already a quality loss. It will not show up in your mass balance, but it is a quality cost that should be taken into account when we do our loss analysis. And when we already in the factory notice and side stream this product, we make it a waste, defect, waste. Here the one thing is, if it is reworked, it still counts as a defect. So that's how you account for defects and off-specs within your material and quality loss deployment. I hope it also triggered something. Let me know in the comments if this gave you a new insight how to work in the next analysis you will do for your organization. And also, if you would like me to make some videos about how to actually solve different types of quality defects in a structured way, let me know which types are interesting for you and I'll make a video on that as well. For now, I wish you the best of luck identifying and deploying your quality and material losses, but also, as always, enjoy that improvement journey.